99% of clothing brands are selling products, but the 1% that dominate, they're selling the identity. Today, I'm gonna be giving you the secret blueprint that million-dollar brands use to build their diehard communities that keep customers coming back. But before I break this down step by step, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered why brands like Gymshark or Lululemon or Supreme have diehard fans while other brands struggle to get repeat customers? Well, the answer is what I'm about to show you next. So I posted a video in our community last week with a very simple caption that was asking people if this was them, and it blew up, at least in our community. And that's because great brands speak directly to their audience. That's the only people we talk to, or people like you who are in the fashion space. But if your messaging is unclear, you're trying to be everything to everyone, you'll actually attract pretty much no one. Number one is community-centric messaging, not customer. In this stage, you have to solve pain points and emphasize the benefits over features. Wear confidence, not clothes. Having a strong brand voice. So whether bold or luxurious, approachable, make sure it's consistent across platforms so customers feel connected to the actual brand. Another huge part of this, and one we'll dive a little bit deeper into, is this storytelling and social proof. Highlight customer testimonials, behind the scenes content, and real experiences to create authenticity. You may not have all that. Maybe you're in the very beginning stages. There are still ways to do that. There are still ways to create this content, and even more of a reason for you to be sharing stuff behind the scenes so that you can actually add a level of authenticity. One of my favorite ways to use this and have better messaging is to get people into one spot, if you will, and launch a VIP type of community. You can label it however you'd like, but I think it's pretty synonymous there. But launch a VIP community where your most engaged customers get early access to products, styling sessions, insider perks, whatever is relevant to your audience. I also used to say something to the effect of like create a hashtag community or a movement, if you will. I don't think that's as relevant today. However, you can use that as a guide of what is relevant for the platform that can be more timeless than just locking it in this video. And what I mean by that is, to me, Instagram hashtags very nominal, not necessarily as impactful. But what are other things that you can do within inside of your community to create a certain movement? Or if you do use hashtags in Instagram or TikTok, maybe it's something a little bit more branded, that it's just your brand name. That's an option, just a little tidbit. This doesn't happen all the time, and so many people get discouraged by it, but I would encourage your users, your people who buy from you, to tag you in their outfits in exchange for a feature on your brand page. Maybe they want some actual exposure. So many people are like, no, I'm not going to myself personally, and I know that the brand isn't, or that I'm not going to get that many people to actually post about my brand. But if you ask people, you have a much higher chance of actually getting them to post the content. So you've got to start doing that. Without this good messaging, it's very difficult to go through the rest of this video where I'm going to share tactical advice and things that you can implement, but you got to focus on the actual message, like I mentioned, to the actual right person. But first, hold up just 1 second. I want to say that if you are a clothing brand owner and want to jump into the specifics of your brand and how to grow it profitably online, you can schedule a free 45-minute strategy session by checking out the link in the description down below. It doesn't matter if you're a streetwear brand, whether you're a boutique, whether you're private label. If you sell apparel online, we can help. Or if nothing else, we will point you in the right direction. Make sure you do check out the link in the description down below, and back to the video. So as Peter Drucker once said, the aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well the product or service fits him and sells itself. Insert him or her. But basically, you know the customer so well that the product will literally sell itself. Now, in clothing, no one buys until they believe the value outweighs the price. But beyond just making a sale, the real power is in creating a brand so valuable that people want to be part of it. And that is where the community-driven value comes in. Okay, so number 2 is how community increases perceived brand value. All right, so if you've heard us talk about our COE, or clothing offer equation, this may make a little bit more sense, but more community focused. If you have not heard of that, basically this is an equation that we have used to add more value to people who are buying clothes so that you can objectively change things inside of your business to generate more sales. Number 1, identify and style aspirations. And this is the S, if you will, in the formula. Customers don't just buy products, they buy into an identity. And a strong community makes people feel like they are part of something bigger than just clothing. Let me just pull up this equation here for you guys, and like I said, I won't go through the full equation. I'll talk about that here in a second, but I want to hit on the main things here with this equation that you can use to help build a better community. So this S here is more so about the identity and style aspirations. Now remember, customers don't just buy products, they buy into an identity. And a strong community makes people feel like they are part of something that is bigger than just clothing. This QF here is about this quality and fit, if you will, that social proof. The more customers they see in the community wearing and loving the brand, the more they trust the quality and fit. And community-driven UGC and testimonials remove hesitation. More people inside of your products or wearing your products inside of this community, if you will, are going to generate actual sales. These are things that you can use for your website. These are things that you could do on social. But the whole point here for creating that community is to have like-minded people in a group that is, again, identifying something bigger than the actual clothes. But because they are wearing it, they are representing something bigger. But also because of that, the social proof here, it actually continues to kind of compound amongst themselves. We'll talk about opportunities or places where you can quote unquote build these communities, because so many people use that word and like, what is community? Well, there are places that you can build them without having to just assume that you have a community because you have followers, which I think is no longer as relevant today with the amount of followers you have. That's not really a community of people. So I think there's a difference there we have to talk about. This next one here is loyalty, and it's about lowering the barriers to purchase. Customers who feel emotionally connected to the brand are more patient with shipping delays, less sensitive to price. They also are more likely to advocate for the brand. Kind of going back here, they're the ones actually rocking the product. Number 3 here is the playbook for community-driven brands. All right, so inside of this community, you would like to have a few things to really help them stand out, right? So exclusive drops only for those people, limited editions, making sure that your community feels like actual VIP insiders. So many people create things and they don't actually give them VIP access. They just give them the same old thing that everybody else does maybe an hour earlier. Now, I do like early access and behind the scenes content for those VIP people, and I do like them having input into the brand, but just an hour before, to me, is no longer as effective. So making sure that truly they do feel like a VIP. Shared experiences and customer-led engagement, so host styling challenges, collaborative product designs, or live shopping events where customers can feel involved. Like I said, inside of this community, if you will, when you go live, you can actually get that real feedback from them in real time and actually help them feel like they are involved in it. User-generated content as brand proof, kind of like we mentioned here, that's a big part of this. Feature the community members on your website. I've not seen very many people do this, but if you have top community members, there's no reason that them as UGC are not mentioned on your website. I've seen it before with like the bottom of your site and you have a link, for example, to Instagram posts and people are showcased that way, but you may have, you know, your community or your team and it may look like you guys are actually much bigger than you are by having pictures or people. I've seen it as a photo gallery, if you will. Don't know if it's useful as an actual gallery, but just the more people and social proof that you have helps the people who are part of the brand feel great, but also helps you with the social proof to generate even more sales. But I'd like to see those people, like I said, not only on your website, but across social media, and it helps them create a sense of belonging that this is my group of people and I'm not really going to leave that brand. One other thing to help with this though is the brand rituals. So brand rituals that strengthen loyalty. Whether it's a specific product drop schedule, a unique way of packaging orders that is special for the VIP members, or a special greeting for community members, small brand rituals build deep emotional connections to your audience. And something that we've talked about a lot is using live selling platforms like TikTok. So TikTok Shop, depending on when you're watching this video, and maybe it's still around, who knows, the status of TikTok is still kind of up in the air, and probably will be forever, I don't know. But TikTok Shop and going live there, huge, powerful. Instagram Live, and you could also use something like Comment Sold, which is a third-party platform, and there is also a tool called Video. If you're over on Shopify, you could use that as well. So Comment Sold or Video. There is a link in the description down below for those if you wanted something besides just going live on TikTok or Instagram. Using that to engage your customers will directly be able to let you showcase the products. It also allows you to drive real-time sales, like literally using Comment Sold. You can say, I want this hoodie right here, comment 102, and they comment the word 102. It automatically charges their card, starts the processing side side of things is very succinct. It is awesome, if you will. Same thing for TikTok Shop. They have it synced up with their product catalogs. People can buy literally right there where you are live, process the order. It's huge. Live selling is huge. I do not see that going away. I have not talked about it at length in this video, but we have many videos where we are absolutely going all in on the live selling side of things. So if you want to build a community, going live is a huge way to do that, and it just adds more personable or better response time, more personable outreach to you, the brand owner, and your potential customers or tribe, if you will. So highly suggest looking into live selling. I know some of you guys do not want to turn on the camera and turn it around to your face, but I promise you it will be fruitful. The last one I call is leverage, if you will. So community-led growth. So by finding 10, 20 passionate fans, like as you start to grow this thing, to be the ones and turning those people into advocates who actually bring in new customers. We've talked about this. It's kind of like an ambassador program, kind of like an affiliate program, but more so a little bit deeper than that. These are people who are not actively getting paid from you, but just believe in the mission so much, that identity so much, that they are willing to go out and actually build and bring more people in. There are actual jobs for these people in businesses and brands that is like community engagement, and that is what they would do. However, no matter if you're just starting out or even more advanced, getting these people, you will be so surprised how 10 to 20 people who just love the brand so much and want or would like just free merch and to be part of the community, something bigger than themselves, that they will do that for free. That happens as you start to build this thing, not a right out the gate situation, but something to be thinking about. If you don't give your customers a reason to stay, they will leave. Community is the glue that turns a one-time buyer into a lifelong fan. And we had an amazing brand that we were working with, I believe it was like January of last year. They had an acquisition cost, which was amazing for them. Average order value was about 75, 80 bucks. Cost per acquisition was around 25 to 30 bucks, which was great for them. Their first purchase profitable, but the retention, the people who came back to purchase, extremely low. And that boutique continued to suffer because they actually did not want to spend, and please don't be this, they did not want to spend $400 on email per month for Klaviyo. They have a large email list, and they didn't want to do any SMS, and so they just let that literally suffer. The returning customer rate was like 7% because they didn't continue to engage them. Had they had a community, they could have at least rebounded. I don't think they could have gotten to the 30%. Honestly, I do think you need email and SMS to help with this, but if they would have had a community, maybe the brand would have stuck around a lot longer. And this brand is still technically around, but still struggling because they will not get over it. And no matter, just full transparency, no matter what we say every time, you think it's obvious, and maybe you on the other side of the screen are like, that's ridiculous. Why would I not spend $400 to make money? Which, crazy. In February, we did talk them into spending the $400, and they made like $7,000, $8,000 off of email and SMS combined. But for whatever reason, I don't know. Don't come at me. They still did not continue to do it. They just looked at it as a hard expense, and they thought that they could get people in other ways without having to pay the $400. So do not be penny wise and pound foolish, but you can mitigate your risk by actually creating a community here. All right, so the 5 pillars of community content. Number 1, having a brand narrative. What's the bigger story your brand is telling? Is it about sustainability, empowerment, craftsmanship, quality? Your community needs something to actually rally behind. Every community must rally behind something. The most polarizing things you can think of, for example, in the United States, are going to be politics and religion. They have to have something that is bigger than themselves. If you don't know the answer to that, please spend time understanding your audience, just like we mentioned with the Chris Ducker quotation earlier. Know your audience so well. What do they actually care about? Okay, that brand narrative is extremely important. Number 2, customer stories. Showcase UGC, where real customers show how they use your products in daily life, right? And so you have this identity piece here. How do they use your product in the daily life? Is this a product, for example, a Texas-based brand, and it is more of like an 80s type of vibe or a nostalgic vibe, and there's more pasture, maybe he's out on a farm and you're showcasing that lifestyle of working on a farm? Who knows? Or is this a streetwear brand with an affinity towards the Chicago streets, and they're more of an urban style like shoot? Whether they're walking down Michigan Avenue and you have some iconic buildings in the background, or maybe they're in front of the bean. Hey, howdy, and hello. I'm Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at Bit Branding, and we specialize in helping clothing brands just like you, grow and scale online. In the last 12 months alone, we've helped over 300 clothing brands. And if you're serious about growing your brand, make sure to give us a nice little like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on the latest strategies where we drop 2 new videos for you at minimum every single week. Number 3, high quality visuals and videos. Run behind the scenes factory tours. Maybe you don't have a factory, but maybe you have a storage facility. Maybe you have your basement. Maybe you have even just one room. That's also fine. Show us behind the scenes. Show us styling tutorials, right? If you are a certain brand and you're putting together, like for example, that Texas-based brand, maybe you got a pair of Wranglers on, a pair of boots, and you got your whatever Texas brand t-shirt on. If you're streetwear, right, show us your pants, show us maybe you're wearing some J's, maybe you're showing us what outfit you have going on. Show us how to put together the outfit. That's an option. I would also be focusing on any trends that are happening on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, playing to what's actually happening and relevant today, which is extremely important. Number 4, and within this anyway, is the influencer and creator collaborations, all right? So partner with those micro influencers. I don't really suggest for even big brands. Maybe you're a large brand. Maybe you're doing $30, $50, $60 million a year. It doesn't matter. If you're doing $3, $5, $10,000 a month or even less, I would focus on micro influencers to amplify your brand's reach organically. Macro influencers, very low ROI today, unless you get somebody like a Kim Kardashian or somebody who's a mega influencer. But the people who play around in the 200,000 to 300,000 range, not as valuable today, honestly. I would rather have 100 people with 5,000 followers in great engagement than somebody with mediocre, and I'm just putting all of my eggs in one basket, or this is the silver bullet, if you will, right? I'd rather have all the golden BBs versus one silver bullet. So one, I'll take this every day of the week, honestly, but one influencer with 600,000 followers versus 100 people with 4,000 to 5,000 followers. I will take that all day, every day. They're gonna reach so many more people than just this one shot, if you will. So please focus on the micro influencers. This will help reach more people and make you seem like you are in so many more places. Number 5, consistent publishing and engagement. So show up daily. This is not to call out my community of people, but I will tell you right now, it is hard. But if you want to make this happen, you will make it happen. Which is then, I need you to post consistently. And consistently, to me, is different for everybody, and that's fine. But to me, consistently is daily. Every single day, you're putting out content. At the minimum, for example, on Instagram, you gotta be doing stories. I went and audited a lot of our members' content inside of our community, and of the 15 people I audited, probably 13 of them did not post on stories that day. How do you expect to win? How do you expect to build a community? You can't tell me that you want something and then not do the actions to make it happen. This is a quote, I saw it on Instagram and I sent it to one of our team members. The quote is this: the fastest way to become the person you want to be is to put yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to become them. You gotta put yourself in a situation where if you want to be a successful clothing brand owner, you've gotta do and put yourself in a situation where that's the only option you have. What does 6, 7, 8-figure clothing brands do? They post on stories. They post on TikTok. They post consistently. They show up. They have a community. Your goal in watching this video is not to just consume information. Stop doing that. Go take action with it. I was watching a video with Stephen Bartlett. He's the Diary of a CEO guy, Alex Ramosi, business guy, and they had just mentioned that so many people do a lot of this, right? They do a lot of talking. We talk too much. And what we really need to be doing is making sure that we're actually taking action. Whether it's silently or aloud, just making your actions known, not just talking about it. And so for this, I cannot stress this enough. I know this is farther into the video, but if you're hearing this now, whether it's walking or actively watching this video, please go back to starting to create content consistently. You've got to have that. All right, so now you know exactly how million-dollar brands turn customers into die-hard fans. They do it through community. You've got to have that. But here's the thing, community alone isn't enough to scale past 7 figures, even get you to 6 figures. You need to drive consistent traffic. And I break down exactly how to do that step by step in this video right here on how to run Instagram ads. Go watch this video right here next. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time, and P.S., make sure you subscribe.